How does a college dropout with no clear business build a fortune of over $500 million? That's the central mystery of Jeffrey Epstein. Forget the salacious headlines for a moment and let's do what investigators have been trying to do for years. Follow the money. Because Epstein's wealth, which peaked at nearly $600 million at the time of his death, is one of the most scrutinized and yet opaque fortunes in modern history. The story isn't one of a brilliant investor or a Ponzi schemer. Instead, it's a tale of exorbitant fees, elite connections, and financial institutions that looked the other way. When the FBI and journalists started digging, they didn't find a sprawling criminal enterprise funded by blackmail, as many suspected. There was no secret ledger of powerful people being extorted. Instead, the money trail led to something almost more unsettling in its simplicity. A handful of billionaires who paid Epstein outrageous sums for so-called tax and estate planning. From 1999 to 2018, Epstein's firms raked in over $800 million in revenue. Of that, he personally pocketed at least $490 million in fees alone. These weren't returns on brilliant investments. They were service charges, far beyond anything a legitimate financial advisor would ever dream of charging. So, who was paying these astronomical amounts? The primary source, the financial bedrock of Epstein's empire, was Les Wexner, the billionaire founder of L Brands, the parent company of Victoria's Secret. Their relationship began in the 1980s, and by 1991, Wexner had given Epstein full power of attorney. Think about that for a second. This gave Epstein total control over Wexner's immense fortune. He could sign checks, manage billions, buy and sell assets, all in Wexner's name. Over several decades, it's estimated Wexner paid Epstein somewhere between $200 and $300 million in fees. Wexner even transferred his massive Manhattan townhouse, the largest private residence in the city, to Epstein for a nominal sum. In 2020, after their relationship had publicly imploded, Wexner claimed that Epstein had also misappropriated at least $46 million from him. Their partnership finally dissolved in 2007, a move that dealt a major blow to Epstein's primary income stream. But by then, another billionaire had stepped in to fill the void. Enter Leon Black, the co-founder of Apollo Global Management. Between 2012 and 2017, Black paid Epstein a staggering $158 million. The official reason: tax and estate planning services. This included setting up complex structures designed to shield billions of dollars from taxes. A later investigation commissioned by Black's own firm, Apollo, cleared him of any knowledge of or involvement in Epstein's crimes, but the sheer size of the payments remains a glaring question mark. Beyond these two titans, the client list gets surprisingly thin. There are minor mentions of others, like an heiress named Elizabeth Johnson, but no broad roster of clients has ever emerged. Epstein wasn't managing money for a wide circle of the rich and famous. He was the personal financial guru to a very, very small and exclusive club. So, he had this massive river of cash flowing in from fees. What did he do with it? Well, he did make some savvy investments. His most notable was a $40 million stake in Peter Thiel's venture capital firm, Valor Ventures. By 2025, that initial investment was projected to be worth around $170 million. But his biggest financial coup was arguably his move to the US Virgin Islands. He established a company there that qualified for massive tax incentives, effectively allowing him to legally sidestep hundreds of millions of dollars in US taxes. This tax haven became the nerve center of his financial operations. And of course, he spent lavishly. The money funded a lifestyle of unbelievable extravagance. There was the infamous Boeing 727 jet, dubbed the Lolita Express. He bought his own private island, Little St. James, in the Virgin Islands for just under $8 million. He owned a sprawling apartment in Paris, a waterfront estate in Palm Beach, Florida, and that now infamous New York City townhouse on East 71st Street. These weren't just homes, they were assets, status symbols, and the stages upon which his crimes took place. None of this would have been possible without the banking system. For years, Epstein banked with two of the world's largest financial institutions, JP Morgan Chase until 2013, and then Deutsche Bank from 2013 until just before his final arrest in 2018. He opened dozens of accounts, moving vast sums of money with alarming ease. Internal documents later revealed that both banks had flagged countless suspicious transactions. They saw large, regular cash withdrawals. They saw payments to women with Eastern European surnames who were later identified as his recruiters. They saw wires to individuals later identified as his victims. Red flags were everywhere. Yet, despite these clear warnings, both banks continued to provide him with their services for years, because he was a lucrative, high-net-worth client with powerful connections. The fallout from this institutional failure has been immense. In 2023, JP Morgan Chase agreed to a massive $200-90 million settlement with Epstein's victims. They also paid $75 million to the US Virgin Islands for their role in facilitating his operations. Deutsche Bank followed suit, settling with victims for $75 million. These settlements were a tacit admission. They knew, or at the very least should have known, what was happening and did not act. Beyond the legitimate banks, there were offshore shadows. Epstein used entities in the Virgin Islands for tax purposes, and investigators flagged around $1 billion in wire transfers linked to Russian banks. However, after extensive investigation, no solid proof emerged that he was being funded by Russian oligarchs, or that this was part of a larger criminal scheme. The money trail, while murky, always led back to those core fees from his billionaire clients. So, where did all the money finally go? After Epstein's death in 2019, his estate was valued at around $630 million. A court established the Epstein Victims Compensation Program. Between 2020 and 2021, this fund paid out $125 million to 135 survivors of his abuse. This, combined with the hundreds of millions from the bank settlements, provided a measure of financial justice, though no amount of money can ever undo the harm he caused. To fund these payments, his assets were liquidated. The islands, the jet, the mansions in New York and Palm Beach all sold off. As of 2025, the estate still holds around $150 to $200 million. Much of it locked in long-term investments like the Valor Ventures stake. Recent efforts, like the Epstein Files Transparency Act, have led to the release of more documents, emails, and records. But they haven't produced a smoking gun, no bombshell revelation of a grand blackmail ledger. Instead, they've simply reinforced what the financial records already showed. Following Jeffrey Epstein's money doesn't lead to a simple answer. It leads to a complex web of elite gatekeepers, institutional blindness, and profound moral failure. It shows how secrecy and access can create a protective bubble around immense wealth, allowing darkness to fester in plain sight. The full picture may remain forever opaque, a chilling testament to a system that enabled a predator for far too long. Thanks for watching. If you found this deep dive informative, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Stay curious.